more than 60% of our operating assets in South Africa are actually owned by South Africans. And when you look at the historically disadvantaged proportion, it's more like 60% of that ownership is in historically disadvantaged ownership. In terms of transformation, that's a massive transformation of ownership. The landlords are gone. They're long gone. The owners of Anglo American are actually South Africans, like the people in this room, are like the people you pass in the street. They're the owners or people who have pensions, who have ownership in pension funds. They are the owners of this mining industry. They are the owners of the wealth of this country. Where did we lose that debate in society to allow people to get up and say and talk about economic emancipation? When you look at who owns the great resources, the country owns the resources through the MPRDA, the government is the custodian, and the owners of the companies that operate those resources are predominantly owned by South Africans. Now, there's absolutely a critical issue of poverty and equality in our society. Let's go down and address those issues and stop focusing on these mythical people that own something that's just not there. It is average South Africans that own most of the mining companies in this country, and it's time we started to think about every action we take and the impact it has on pension funds and the real owners of this country. We are an industry for the people. We cannot allow ourselves to not realise our potential. We owe it to every child in this country to do everything to make this country as good as it can be. There is absolutely no doubt in the world that we must see a growing mining industry for the country to achieve its employment objectives, for the country to go where it needs to go. We need to be together working up a plan to deliver on growth in the industry, and that's an absolutely critical imperative for the country. Today, we are as close as we've ever been to having a true and honest, a debate with integrity with the government about the future we want to create. No one in our industry, none of us in this country should let this moment pass. We have an opportunity to create a new future for our industry and for the country. We are at a moment where we are, for the first time in my view, confronting with honesty a deficit that has been there, a trust deficit that has been there for 100 years. In the next 3 months, if we can change the nature of the conversation and begin building on a foundation of trust, we will deliver on the objectives that this country has set itself through the formation of the National Development Plan. We will be unique in the world, one of the few countries that really does have a national strategy that seeks to bring every individual together to create a new future for the country. A country that is 19 years in democracy has come so far. It's incredible the progress is made, yet we spend so little time reflecting on the great achievements that have been made. We have at this very moment an opportunity to take another step forward. While not as significant as 1994, it's probably the most significant opportunity since 1994 to create a new South Africa, a transformed South Africa that is there to be enjoyed, to be owned by every South African. None of us in this industry will let that moment pass. We will speak with courage, with integrity, and with honesty. And if that brings us into conflict for those that don't share those three ideals, then so be it. But no one will say of this industry that we weren't prepared to stand up, to fight the good fight, to make a great South Africa.